Happy Friday, friends! Coming later in this video is going to be Fun Fit Friday, Fun Tip Friday. I really don't know how the coloring goes on this. I'm so sorry. The sun's just literally right there. It is a freaking beautiful day in North Carolina. It's just one of those days where you wake up and you feel so tremendously blessed because the day is just so beautiful. I actually got to, I didn't have to be at work until 9 this morning. So I got to sleep for, well, I tried to sleep and I didn't. Like my, of course, body alarm. Like I just woke up at 7, which is still 30 minutes later than I normally wake up. So that was nice. And I made protein pancakes and sausage for Nick and I. For Nick and myself. And that was delicious because I just got to like really sit down and enjoy my breakfast without feeling rushed or eating it in the car. And now I'm on the way to physical therapy per usual. And I'm done for the day at work. Like, I don't have to go back this afternoon. So it's a really, like, the fact that I don't have to go out this afternoon is a beautiful, sunny, 75-degree day. Oh, I'm so happy. I really have needed a day like this, y'all. As you can probably tell from my last videos, like I said, I've just been really in the dumps and lethargic and not motivated. And today, weather like this changes all of that. Like, I just love it. So, sorry, my allergies, like my nose and my sinus, everything up here hurts so bad, and it's just like so sensitive. I really hope this isn't super loud. I have my sunroof open, a little beautiful day. Oops. So I'm going to physical therapy, and then I think Nick even has a light day at work because he works from home, and I don't think he has too many requests today. So I think we're gonna head to the tattoo shop in downtown Winston. Super pumped. Finally get our ish planned out because we didn't get to do that on Valentine's Day like we planned because the tattoo shop closed early to get spend time with the babies. So yeah, I'm super excited to go do that. We might even grab some lunch or something while we're in downtown. I don't know, downtown Winston is beautiful. I love it. It's so much fun. And then we will get a lift in today. I'm gonna do a back and thighs day, so pretty much a pool day for Fit Friday. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next clip. Happy Friday, you guys. Happy Fitness Fact Friday. I mentioned in a previous video that I had an announcement for you guys and that I wanted to start doing Fitness Fact Friday so that way you could learn more, so you understand your lifts better, and that way you understand when people are teaching you a lift, you can kind of grasp the terms they're using, because you might hear these terms and kind of in your head just go along with it but not really know what they're talking about. So if I can help you learn a little bit more in this weightlifting, bodybuilding world, maybe I'm doing a little something right. So let's get started. I want to go over four terms with you today. These terms are going to be type of muscle contractions that we use when we are weightlifting. So essentially weightlifting, you know, it's bringing something up, putting something back down. Whether it's, you know, a lateral raise, a front raise, something, you know. It can be in any plane of the body, which there are planes to the body, but I'm not gonna get into that because we were doing 4 turns only. Don't want it to be overwhelming. So when you are doing a type of muscle contraction, there are 2 types. You have your isometric contraction and your isotonic contraction. The isometric contraction can also be known as a static contraction. It is the move or the contractions of the muscle where there's no visible change occurring. Like a lot of times, a great example of this would be a bodybuilder doing a pose. So they're just standing there, they're contracting their muscles, but you're not noticing a change in action. Like you don't notice them flexing, you don't notice them having to like extend their arm, like hyperextend it or anything like that. Like it's just the way they're standing. You're not noticing a different contraction, a different action or any added resistance to that. So that is what you would call the an isometric contraction. So another tip for looking for an isometric or a static movement is you will not notice a change in angle in the muscles in the joints. It's another good tip. So that's why I refer to the bodybuilder doing, you know, a pose. They're just standing there. You're not noticing a change in the angles of their joints. Then you also have the opposite of that. You have your isotonic contraction. It's just when the angles and lengths of the muscles change. So then that leads me to the last two terms, because an isotonic contraction is then broken down into a concentric or an eccentric movement. So I'm gonna break these down for you. So like I said, isotonic, there is a change in the angle or length of the muscle. So breaking up isotonic into concentric and eccentric actions, concentric can also be thought of as the shortening action. So the muscle is going to shorten as it is overcoming a resistive force. So it's fighting gravity, it's the opposite pull of gravity. Whereas an eccentric action is the lengthening or returning back to the resting length of the muscle. So doing an eccentric action is producing a ton of force, like it's lengthening, it's going back to its returning, like there's a lot more force production in an eccentric move, which is why when you are descending in a move, for example, the bicep curl, it is so much easier to come down and go fast on that. Because you're going in the same pull as gravity. You're not fighting the pull of gravity like you would in a concentric action. So like I said, isometric, you're going to be standing, doing a pose, kind of like a bodybuilder. I mean, this is just an example. There's no change in length or angle joints. The angles of the joints. And then a concentric action, we're gonna use a bicep curl as an example. So when you do a bicep curl, you're standing there, your starting position, and you come up. This is going to be your concentric movement because you are having to make your muscles become a resistive force and fight the pull of gravity. So you get your contraction, then you come back down, and that becomes your eccentric contraction where you are returning back to your resting phase and the muscle is going back to its normal length. Now it is important when you're going into the eccentric action that and another tip, these can also be called negative reps when you're coming down. Like sometimes when people are really into really building a muscle group, they'll just focus on the negative and not the concentric. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when you're going down into the eccentric action, you're coming down, it is so important. This is why you hear a lot of people talk about go slow and steady, because it's so easy to just give away to gravity and let it pull the weight down for you. But if you can go nice, slow and steady and pull the weight down and not just give away to gravity, that's where you're gonna get that muscle grip. It allows you to lift more weight because you're having to fight gravity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're going with the same pull as gravity, so you don't want to let gravity do all the work. You want to do the work to build the strength in your muscles. So if you are new to weightlifting, strength training, that kind of stuff, stick to your light weights with your, we'll bring it back to the bicep curl, and I'm using this because it's a great example. Use your lighter weights so that way when you can lift the weight up, which is going to be the hardest part, but that way, it's gonna feel really easy coming back down, and you're gonna be like, I could do more weight going down, like that's not the hard part. But if you immediately jump to higher weight to work on the eccentric movement, it's a high risk for injury because your body's not used to it. But if you have been around for a little bit and you want those little pumpkins, apples, whatever the heck you want to call them, your biceps to grow, you could focus on some negative strength training. Go ahead and add negative training, make it, add it to your advantage. Grab some heavier dumbbells than what you're used to having to pull up for a full bicep curl and just do the negative reps. That's why we call it negative training. And you'll really notice some different growth in other areas, and you could take that into example with a tricep push down. You could start here, pull down. That's gonna be your concentric action. Then going back up, that's the easy part because you're with the pull of gravity. So focus on going really nice, slow and steady. I mean, and you will build the muscles that you're trying to work on. So that is all for Fit Tip Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. I hope I made sense. So just as a recap, we went over an isometric movement, which is your static position, pretty much no visible action or angle changes in the muscle. Length doesn't look like it changes. And then you had your isotonic, where the angle and length of the muscle changes, which is then broken into a concentric and an eccentric movement. Concentric is going to be known as your shortening action. You are shortening the muscle to fight the force of gravity, and eccentric is your lengthening, where you are going in the same direction as the pull of gravity. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this will be a fun, great little series where we can learn new things. If there's any terms you want me to go over in length that you might be curious about, that you don't know anything about, but you don't really feel like you have a good resource for that, which, guys, do your research. It's not that hard to find you know, information on the things that you might be curious about. Bodybuilding.com is a great resource, and I know maybe people think that you wouldn't get the best information from it because it is such a go-to resource, and that's where people get their workouts and their supplements and everything. But it's because they're good at what they, bodybuilding is full of information. It's amazing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I can give you guys some information that is valuable to you, that you can use in your next list. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. I really appreciate you watching this video. And if you liked it, please like the video. That is the only way my channel is going to grow. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one. Why did I do this like I'm smoking? I don't know.